You're listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio.
This is the Hive Mind. It is our Patreon exclusive show, which we do broadcast live to everyone else, but we let our Patreons come on and discuss what's going on in Star Trek right now. This is our Prodigy panel. We did part 1 last week, episodes 1 to 10. Originally, we were gonna do episodes 11 to 20 today, but there's so much going on in the second half of Prodigy season 2, so we are just going to be covering episodes 11 to 15. Spoiler alert, if you have not seen these episodes yet, we will be going no holds barred on spoilers for this. So you have been warned. You have been warned. I don't want to ruin it for you. I really don't, because it is a fabulous season of Star Trek. Also, just before going to air, we have seen just an absolute huge amount of news coming out of San Diego Comic-Con. We've had trailers, we've had announcements of new shows. Obviously, the Paramount Plus panel has just taken place, and look, I think there might still be some news coming out now. So, if you will indulge us, so I've got some of our BQN Network patrons waiting in the wings, and we have all just watched the trailers, and we want to give you our live reactions. So hang tight. We want to step through all of that. So I guess I should bring my panel on. Joining me as always is the fabulous Jim. It makes it to every BQN patron event. Hello there, Jim. And of course, returning, we haven't seen since Let's Fly. It's Haven. Haven, welcome back.
Thank you.
What? Okay, it's Sunday morning for me. I know it's Saturday evening for yourselves, but what a morning, what a day. We've just been, we're like ducks that are being turned into foie gras. We've just had like Star Trek just rammed down our throats, which I don't condone foie gras, by the way. Awful practice. But anyway. So let's just recap what we've had coming out of San Diego Comic-Con recently. So we've had a Lower Decks Season 5, the final season trailer. We've had a Section 31 trailer. We have had a clip from Season 3 of Strange New Worlds. We've had an announcement of some permanent cast members, I'm assuming permanent cast members, from Starfleet Academy. And a further announcement, this is 5 things that I'm aware of so far, of a new live-action Star Trek comedy series, which is being brought to us by Tawny Newsome. Now, I did see a note somewhere saying that it's called Star Trek Outcast. So we're going to talk about all of these things. But, Jim, I know you haven't had a chance to digest all the news yet, but which one's blown you away the most so far?
Well, I'm just hearing about most of these right now, but I'd say the live action comedy.
The live action comedy, yeah. Look, it does sound pretty interesting. So the notes I've made on that so far is it's a Federation outpost, which finds out that their day-to-day exploits are being broadcast across the Federation or across the galaxy. I'm assuming in a reality show style exploit of sorts. It's meant to be a comedy. So that is going to ruffle some feathers. But if Tawny Newsome's behind it, I am 100% in. I also saw that, so it's not only Tawny Newsome, but we've also got Justin Simeon, who I'm not too sure who that is, but I'm sure we'll find out. I'm going to jump to Haven. Haven, you just before we went live, you were just busily watching everything on your phone because you hadn't seen them.
Yep.
Which one's blown you away the most?
I would must say The Strange New World is the one that's blown me the most, but it's also what's really gonna blow my mind, and I'm gonna try and keep an update for it, especially for this live show. The official panel with Doctor Who starts in 20 minutes.
Right, yes. And Doctor Who, the Doctor Who panel is going to be Russell T Davies, showrunner for the current season of Doctor Who. And
Yep.
is it Kurtzman?
Yes,
Yeah, it's gonna be
that's the thing
Russell T
I'm looking
Davies
forward
and
to.
Kurtzman starting at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time, which is 20 minutes from now in room 6A tonight. So
Right. Wow. Okay. So, Haven, if you're keeping an eye on that, your job is to just lose your mind and wave your arms around like crazy if anything really exciting comes out of that, because we'll chat about it here. Let's step. Oh, and also you mentioned the Strange New World season 3 clip. Yeah, that looks like hijinks, and Strange New Worlds does hijinks really well.
yeah, it's probably the best. Like as I've said multiple times, Discovery was my shot. But honestly, this clip from In the Worlds might be taking the cake. Like, and it also did take the cake last year with the musical episode. So
Interesting. Look, let's step through a couple of quick bits and pieces from each of these bits of news. I'm going to start with the Lower Decks trailer. So I'm going to go in with what stood out the most for me was the opening montage of it, where you see the Sorcerer, the Cerritos, and clips from the last 4 seasons. I don't know if either of you recognized what that voiceover was referencing, but it was almost word for word the home video trailer for the Star Trek franchise from the 90s. So if you used to get Star Trek on CIC home video, I know it was here in Australia, definitely, and you can find it on YouTube. But whenever you would buy Star Trek on home, like cassette, like the volumes with 2 episodes on it,
yeah,
an ad for the whole franchise on home video would be at the beginning. And
Oh, I remember those.
yes, and so the what the voiceover is saying at the beginning of the Lower Decks trailer is the same, almost the same words as from that original home video trailer, where it's like, they have been our guides, our protectors. And then it goes into say, they are part of the dream that is Star Trek. And there's lots of clips from all over the franchise interspersed in it. So do yourself a favor, go and look up 90s Star Trek home video commercial and then go and watch the season 5 trailer again. And yeah, I loved it because I had so much Star Trek on home video. It was the best way for me to watch it in Australia as a kid, because TV didn't broadcast it very well here. It was always on late at night. We were always far behind the US. And I never fast forwarded through this commercial. I always watched it. It's a really, really lovely piece. Jim, I'll go to you next. What else stood out for you in the Lower Decks season 5 trailer?
Captain Freeman, and I'm not talking about the one we've known for 4 years.
Captain Becky Freeman. That was right after another Cerritos appears, and it's just like, oh, another singularity, and then you see Captain Becky. The 3rd one this month. Hilarious. I know. Imagine that something that incredible happens so often that it's just like, oh my God, again. Love it. Haven, what else stood out for you in the Lower Decks season 5 trailer?
with the Lower Deck season 5, what that really actually really got me excited was like the fact it actually brought. I wasn't really a fan of season 4. I actually didn't finish season 4, but
Oh,
this gave me hope. So I was like, you know what, maybe I'll bring it back. Like, because yeah, I dropped off at part of season 4, but this actually gives me hope for. I especially being the final season, we have to see how it finishes.
Yeah, okay, awesome. Well, you've got to go and finish season 4, Haven. You've got to do it. Lower Decks is just the shit. Like, it's so good. and I mean the shit in a positive context. Before we push ahead, so we've got our wonderful Peter in the YouTube chat today. Now, Peter is a part of the BQN Collective, hosts the Trek Book Club, always lets us know when the 99-cent Star Trek ebooks are on sale. So Peter also loved the opening of the Lower Decks trailer, and also noted that it was, so the original trailer, wait, I don't know, Peter, if you're talking about the original trailer for the home videos or the Lower Decks one, was narrated by Christopher Plummer, who played Cheng.
I think he means the videotapes.
Yeah, because Christopher Plummer's no longer with us. Is that correct? Yeah, okay, yeah, must mean the videotapes. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. A few other, so I've watched it a few times. So a few things I picked up on as well. There is a scene where they are in an Enterprise style decontamination chamber, rubbing the gel on themselves, and Ransom is like slapping it on his pecs, like going, "Oh yeah, that's the stuff." So I thought that was really, really funny. And also the little bit at the end where they're with the Klingons and the Klingon shouts out, you're going to have the rite of pain, and then you see Boimler getting really scared, and then he pauses and he's like, "This is going to be Klingon as hell." Which brings me back to what I love about Lower Decks is it's literally just a ship full of Star Trek fans. And they are us and we are them. And I think that's why we love Lower Decks so much. But it is the final season of Lower Decks, which is sad.
Well, supposedly, I'm gonna hold out hope that there are more.
Allegedly. Let's go with allegedly for this one. So I feel like they hint at the fact that they may try and continue it in the trailer itself, when they're like, "Oh, it's one more voyage," and they're like, the voiceovers come on from Mara and Boimler, and they're both like, "We're not done voyaging. We're not done." So that could mean, hey, we've got one more season to go, or like, we're not done with this show yet. Haven, do you think we'll get more Lower Decks after season 5?
Anything is possible, and I will hope for the best. But I'm still hoping. I'm still hoping we'll get a season 6 of Discovery.
Hold out hope there. Hold out hope, Haven. With Peter as well mentioned that one of his favorite bits is a scene with Klingon pain sticks, which looked like a reference to the Icarus Factor from TNG season 2, which Peter is probably very, very likely. We've got a lot of news to cover.
Talking more of DS9 there, but yeah.
Maybe. We're going to jump onto the Section 31 trailer, which was quite a wild ride. We really saw a lot of Giorgio, not a lot of hints of story, but a very stylized, I got Ocean's 11 kind of vibes from the trailer in a way. I don't know why. Like, there was something about the way the kind of ragtag group was depicted in the trailer, and even the visuals, the graphics that they used. There was some kind something about it. Maybe it wasn't Ocean's 11, but I got some kind of like zany heist movie kind of feel from it. And naturally, the use of Beyonce's Formation is something that people are going to love or they're going to hate. Jim, what stood out for you in the Section 31 trailer?
Oh, just the visuals of it. Just the visuals of it, which I thought were stunning, and Georgiou looked amazing in the trailer. This is a movie which I've been looking forward to it for a while, since I've been an advocate for a Section 31 series since 1997 or whatever it was when they were first introduced. And I also had some friends who got to go onto the set for a couple of days during filming, so I am really looking forward to this.
Wow. So you've got the I was into Section 31 before it was cool kind of vibe going on a little bit, I think. Okay, cool. Yep, I can get behind that.
I always thought it was a great idea for a series, and I really wanted it from the beginning. Like I always thought a Luther Sloan weekly series would have been fantastic. Would have been fan-freaking-tastic.
Oh, yeah, and what's the name of the actor who played Sloane? I loved him in the 90s. William Sadler, yes. Big fan of his. I used to love him in a show called Roswell, where he played a sheriff, which I thought he was fabulous in. So you're not getting a series. We thought we were going to get a series for a while there. And then I think Michelle Yeoh's career went absolutely gangbusters. Academy Award winner. So I think we could really only get her back for a movie. Now, she looks like she's back, and she looks like she is chewing the scenery in the way that only she can. So how do you feel with what you originally wanted versus what this trailer kind of depicted?
I'll take what I can get.
So what I like about you, Jim, you are just a positive glass half full individual.
I when it comes to Star Trek, I try to be, especially considering how long we went without any for a while there.
Absolutely. Haven, you jumped on and watched the Section 31 trailer whilst we were chatting on StreamYard. What are your thoughts?
Well, at first, like it absolutely blows my mind.
Mhm.
One thing that actually I was surprised at is they did not, considering the very first cast member besides Michelle Yeoh that they announced, was the cast member, I forget who it was, but for Rachel Garrett. I didn't see her at all at the trailer.
No, I don't think we did. We did see.
This is me.
Yeah.
Like, and that but I've been loving Section 31 always. Like
Mm-hmm.
Section 31 is, I feel it's part of my mantra. I feel like as well. Like and with that being said, it was something that it is I was really hoping we'd get a series as well.
Mm-hmm.
And but like you said, we with how big Michelle got,
Yep.
it's fantastic to be able to get her for this movie. And this movie is probably going to it's one of the few things I'll probably go and buy immediately.
Amazing. Yeah, I mean, when it comes out on streaming, this will be one to get as a Blu-ray Steelbook collector's edition kind of thing. Now, you mentioned the lack of sort of like Rachel Garrett or cast members or anything. That kind of goes back to what I was saying. I feel like there was no hints of plot or story in the trailer at all. We got a little bit of young Giorgio, which I found interesting. So there was the emperor, who was raised to rule, and just little bits of voiceover hinting at just how many people she murdered in her time. And you always got to remember that with Giorgio. We love the emperor, but she's done some awful things, like some awful things. There were
Davey, Davey, if I could just say something, like when I said I had friends who got to visit the set. When they came back, they said they got to see some of the scenes with the kid with the kid who played young Terzu act. They said she was phenomenal.
right.
So that's so I thought that was like a great tease to like what we could possibly get.
Mm. Peter in the chat is with you as well, Jim. We'll take what we can get when it comes to Section 31. And I'm optimistic. Haven was telling me that there was some hate in the YouTube comments, but I'm pretty sure that YouTube comments exclusively exist for hate, so that's fine. Because it'll be that whole thing of, oh, it doesn't look like Star Trek. Where's the ship? Where's the captain? Where's the white guy in charge? Like that kind of thing. What I love,
We heard all those comments, like when Avery became captain, when Kate became captain, when Sonequa became captain.
Yep, exactly.
It's old school. It's old habit by now, and every single one of them went away within like a couple of weeks or months each time.
Yep. One thing I will say is there is a little something for everyone in Star Trek these days. The diversity of the shows that is coming out, and I don't just mean diversity in terms of the people who are on the shows, I mean diversity in the stories from the Star Trek universe that we are getting. The Star Trek universe is not just the Federation, it's not just the Enterprise. I mean, that's where it's at its best, arguably, but it is an entire galaxy universe of possibilities. There's good guys, there's bad guys, there's everything in between guys, some who are not guys. Like, it's just, it's a beautiful world. So, hey, open your minds. Don't be a hater. And don't come for me for saying that. Let's move on, because there's a few more I just want to get to really quickly. We'll touch on the Strange New Worlds clip. Now, Jim, you did not get a chance to watch this, so
No, I did not.
Haven, I will pretty much address you exclusively here. Fun clip where we saw Pike, Uhura, Chapel, and La'an all having a version of what was the name of that race? Anyway, when they were able to transform Spock into a human, they did the reverse and they turned all of them into Vulcans for some kind of undercover mission. And they all became very logical, and it was very funny. There was a lot of Pelia in it that I loved. What did you take away from this? What did you love about it? What got you excited about it?
Well, first of all, the opening line being from Nurse Chapel. Like, Nurse Chapel has been my favorite character in Friends and Worlds.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely. And Jess Bush, well, she's a pride frustrator. I'll just say that. Like, she has been fantastic. And with that being said, she yeah, it was just with her interactions, it's just like it was perfect. Like, and then the thing I loved how, what is her name, Pelia? Yeah, Pelia did not react at all to the serum, and it's like, you know what, that makes sense. Like, she is land tonight, or most people say it. Yeah, you would not be able to like what? It's not a one thing does all.
Yep. Peter has said that the clip gave the same vibe as Spock, Amok, and Charades. I agree, Peter. One worry for me is that I hope they don't just keep hitting the same beats each season with these kind of hijinksy episodes. That being said, the 3-4 minute clip we got instead of a trailer just showed me that there is going to be more Strange New Worlds fun, and I'm here for that. And like I said, there was Pelia in it. There was fun banter between the cast. I feel like Anson Mount looks like he's lost weight. I don't know.
It does look like that.
Yeah, I thought maybe that was a visual effect they did when they made him more Vulcan. They made him more.
He has been chasing a toddler around this house when he isn't on Star Trek.
There you go. It could indeed be that.
I just thought about something just as you said that. It could also be like a very meta joke. Like, I'm thinking almost like breaking the third wall, like how I just watched Deadpool. Sorry, my alarm is going off.
That's okay.
I just watched Deadpool last night, but almost I feel like it could also be a meta joke. Like, he's losing weight because, well, William Shatner wasn't doing nothing but gaining weight during his
Could be. That's an interesting theory there, Haven. And let's jump into the last two bits of news. So we did not get any footage from Academy, but we did get a further confirmation of some new cast members, which I was very excited about. So Mary Wiseman is returning. So we've got some Deep Discovery links here. Tig Notaro.
Didn't already know that was going to happen.
I know. Yeah, in news that surprised no one. Tig Notaro, though, I was really excited to see that one. We've also got Oded for her, Admiral Daddy Admiral, everyone's favorite Daddy Admiral is returning, and the Dadmiral, and also the one that really shocked, I think, a lot of people was the announcement that Robert Picardo is going to be in Starfleet.
That is me.
Yeah. Yep.
I did not, but I did not see any info on that, so that's what that's shocking me.
There you go. Well, I'm glad I could capture your reaction live on air, Haven. So
So we're finally going to see the backup doctor return home.
now you
I just watched that episode, Jim. I just watched that episode.
As-
But this was so good.
the BQN hosts, we have a separate group chat where we discuss what's going on the network and what have you. And as soon as I think Christos posted the news about Robert Picardo, I think Chrissy Salagi straight away said, this has got to be the doctor from Living Witness, right? It's got to be.
I have been advocating for like the last 4 years or 3 years, however long it was that Discovery was in the 32nd century for him to return.
Yeah. So I love the links to Discovery, some Discovery favorites, and I'm sure we'll get some funny little cameos along the way, which is great. But the link to the broader canon with the Doctor, and Peter in the chat had not heard this news either, so I am glad to have.
Too.
So keep your eyes peeled for more on that. I don't think Starfleet Academy is coming till much later though. We are being kind of fed Star Trek a series at a time. We've got Lower Decks, and then Section 31, and then I'm guessing Strange New Worlds will come before Starfleet Academy. But that's I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Doing it where, sorry, Dave. I like the way they're currently doing it, where they do it for like 6, 8, 10, 12 weeks. Take a break for just as long, and then do another cycle with another series.
Yeah. We don't want to be suffocated like Marvel and Star Wars. And look, I mean,
or like we were in the 90s.
Yeah, exactly. The last one.
Rapid reported. Sorry.
Okay. Oh, what have we got?
Just reported that they are about to go on stage for Kurtzman and Davies are about to go on stage. So.
All right. I mean, if you, I can see we've got about 5 or 6 viewers on YouTube. I mean, stick with us. You don't need to go and watch it all because we've got our reporter Haven right here on the scene who's going to let you know the moment anything exciting drops there. So, last one before we actually move on to talking about Prodigy Season 2 is the brief announcement that there is a new live action series in development from Tawny Newsome and Justin Simeon, comedy show featuring a Federation outpost that is allegedly having its exploits broadcast to the world or to the galaxy or the quadrant in some kind of reality show, I'm guessing. Haven, reactions to that news. This was very left of field. I was like, okay, this is interesting. What do you think? What do you think's going on here?
I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm excited to see because it is something that I would never expect. But like we were talking earlier about it as well, and I was like, no, I could see it being very much a hijinks episode. Like, and Tawny Newsome, Tawny is amazing, and she has always brought joy. So the fact that she is doing this, I was rumored about 3-4 months ago, but I completely dismissed it. In fact, last time when I was on the Hive Mind before, I even said like, yeah, I don't think she was going to be doing it.
I mean, Tawny Newsome loves Star Trek, right? So former host of the official podcast, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I don't think she was going to let the end of Lower Decks or the alleged end of Lower Decks, be the end of her time in Star Trek. We do have, I've seen, so Peter in the chat has just mentioned, would have preferred Legacy, but then again, this will do. So Peter, interesting comment there because Christos was talking in our BQN host chat about this too and suggested that, well, hey, maybe no Legacy, but if this is set in that post-Picard kind of timeline, hey, maybe this is Tawny Newsome trying to make Legacy happen in a weird kind of way. We could get drop-ins from all kinds of from all kinds of different characters in the franchise. Haven, one thing I was thinking about as well is Lower Decks makes a lot of reference to Starbase 80 and how horrible it is there. Maybe this could wind up being like the Starbase 80 show. You know, we had Deep Space Nine.
Maybe it'll be based at Starbase 80.
Yeah, maybe it will.
Loves if we would get Starbase 80. I would. You know what, Tony? If you ever watch this, please make it Starbase 80.
Jim, what are your thoughts on this announcement?
Well, I like the idea. It's a natural evolution since Lower Decks has pretty much been a comedy.
Yeah, but like a comedy in a good way. I was very nervous. I can see Haven's got something to say. I'll get to you in a second, Haven.
Sorry, I'm watching the feed for the SDGCs. That's
I
why.
know. I was very nervous about Lower Decks being a comedy, but you know, hey, it was the comedy we needed, and it came at the right time. It was during the pandemic and all that kind of stuff. Like it was so fate that we got Lower Decks when we did, because I think it also came at a time when maybe some Star Trek fans needed to maybe not take things so seriously. Which could get me a bit of backlash just for saying that. Haven, has something happened? You looked excited then.
Yeah, so this is coming from TrekCore. The Star Trek Doctor Who panel opened with a great massive video celebrating the 57 years of Star Trek and the 54 years of Doctor Who, including Star Trek Prodigy, including a clip that TrekCore says has never been seen before.
Of Prodigy?
Of Prodigy.
All right. Okay.
We're gonna have to try to find it after the show.
All right. Keep your eye on it for us, Haven. So thank you to the live reporting of TrekCore. All right. Stay tuned, everyone, because if you're not hearing it direct from the panel, you're going to hear it here. Or if you haven't watched the panel and you're watching a replay of this, you're going to hear it here. So wow, this is exciting. I feel like I'm a reporter at the Olympics. Which we're going to do right now. So we are here today to continue our recap of Prodigy Season 2. We're going to do episodes 11 to 15, which includes The Last Flight of the Protostar Parts 1 and 2, a tribble called Brittle, I can't remember the tribble's name, Cracked Mirror, yep, and Part 1 of Ascension. We'll try not to stray into Part 2, because Part 1 is episode 15, Part 2 is episode 16. Let's dive straight into it. So, you know, we all know that we're loving Prodigy Season 2 by now. Haven, I know you're only up to date as far as episode 15, is that correct?
No, I finished up to 20.
You've finished it, and Jim, you've finished up to 20?
Yes, I have.
Excellent. All right, so this is where we may start to get into spoiler territory. We are going to get into spoiler territory here, everyone. So let's start with the two-parter, The Last Flight of the Protostar. We've finally found Chakotay. He's been marooned for 10 years with the Protostar. He's become a very cynical individual. The ship has been drained of all its energy. He crashed there basically to sort of stop the living construct from doing its thing. We get the return of Hollow Janeway, and we also get a fun little, what would you call this? Almost like a sailing boat race across a cloud of moisture vapor to recharge the protocore to reunite with the Voyager A. Jim, what did you make of this two-parter and reuniting with marooned of 10 years Chakotay? I thought it was
a pretty good way to reintroduce Chakotay into the series after the way, let's just say the way the kids screwed up the timeline.
Yes.
I enjoyed the whole sea of vapor thing. Those eel creatures, even though they did turn out to be an ally, freaked the hell out of me at first.
Yep.
And same with those big land creatures as well. And Drake, we hardly knew you. Rest in peace.
Yeah, I know. And Haven, what about you? How did you find The Last Flight of the Protostar?
Well, I was like I was so happy to see Chakotay. Like, but Chakotay was always like he was the one I connected with the most on Voyager. So seeing him
Interesting.
come back, yeah, seeing him come back was just fantastic.
Mm.
And well, I'm glad that everything that was that like it almost didn't feel like Robert Beltran missed it. Like it honestly felt like they went in and they did season 7 of Voyager, took maybe a year hiatus, came right back. That's what it felt like to me after, and it's been 23 years since we last saw Kobe.
Yep.
Getting old. I'm getting old as I say that. But yeah, it is. Yeah, and it really felt like so everything that was there just was like, you know, it was amazing.
I'm interested in your how you're related to Chakotay because I'd love to hear more about this because Chakotay as a character is he gets a lot of I don't want to say hate, but certainly people kind of he's the butt of a lot of jokes. Yeah, he's the butt of a lot of jokes, like the same way Harry Kim is. People often argue that he was not the best first officer we ever saw on a Star Trek series, which I don't tend to agree with. I always loved the friction between Chakotay and Janeway. And just as a side note, listeners and viewers, Jim and I mentioned on this show we are very much just sort of putting anything about Beltran in the current day into a box and putting that off to the side. This is very much about the character in the show for the moment. But Haven, can you tell me what it is why was Chakotay the character that you related the most to?
It's the fact that he was always he was given, and him and actually the rest of the Maquis were given that second chance. And that was
Ah.
something that truly meant so much to myself. Like, I know I've had struggles in the past, not, and it always felt like, yeah, if you can be given a second chance, you're made the first officer of the Station Voyager. Yeah, granted that was a field commission, but then also
Yeah.
at the same time given command of the USS Protostar, made captain. Like,
Yep.
like it was like one thing that is like most people don't realize is the field commission for Chakotay was actually only lieutenant commander.
Right.
So the fact that he was made a full captain says something. Like he was given like that, and like yeah, we saw. I believe I know what this is. I don't remember if it was mentioned in this part or maybe in the next 5, but we were mentioned Lieutenant Commander Paris. So he
Hmm.
he got a promotion too. So, and he started off as a criminal.
Yeah. No, that's an interesting. Thank you for that. So, yeah, they were given a second chance, and Star Trek's always been big on redemption arcs. Always very, very big on redemption arcs, which is very, very cool. A lot of people were loving seeing Chakotay back. There actually is quite a bit of love for Chakotay, the character. And there is a lot of people out there who really, really feel very strongly about the relationship, whatever it may be, between Chakotay and Janeway. One thing we did get in this episode as well, and Jim, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, was the return of Hollow Janeway. Because you got to remember, the Janeway that we have in season 2 is not the Janeway. Well, I mean, we did have Rear Admiral Janeway in season 1, but it was mostly Hollow Janeway, who is the Janeway we all know and love, with just a little bit of the Voyager experience kind of stripped out, and she's the mother figure of sorts to this crew. She's the teacher. I want to say the mother figure. That's probably a bad way to represent it. But she is the mentor and the teacher of the young Protostar crew. Now, she spent the last 10 years with the real Chakotay. Jim, what did you make of Hollow Janeway's return?
I thought it was a pretty good return. It didn't completely reset the Hollow Janeway, but it took her back to like the base roots of what she was at the start of the series, while also giving her an edge because clearly she had no idea who these kids were, which was pretty obvious. But she wasn't the same Hollow Janeway because she's had 10 years of experience of living with just Chakotay. So it was a completely different Hollow Janeway, but not up to not a I'm trying to figure out how to word this. Not quite up to the level where she should be. Is the best way I can think of to say it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And I, w- I wonder if, you know, some of these feelings that people allege they had for each other, maybe, 10 years is a long time. And there's clearly a deep connection between Chakotay and Hollow Janeway. I'm not saying anything happened, but maybe something happened. I don't know. Haven, what do you... Haven, what do you reckon? Was there perhaps some, comfort?
There was I can see it happening after 10 years because he was by himself. Like, and you can, there was no other, like, the doctor had created his holographic family
Yeah.
in for a couple episodes. Janeway had was it Shakespeare? No, not Shakespeare. The Victoria family.
Yep.
Oh, and the Da Vinci. Tuvok had recreated his wife. So Chakotay, all he had was holographic Janeway. So I can see it happen.
happening. I don't want to stray too far into that in case I alienate the audience with the ickiness I may be insinuating. So we'll move on to the adventure to get deuterium and power back into the protostar, and a very interesting way of doing it. This was fun. I could certainly see how this would have been a lot of fun, especially for the younger audiences. Jim, how did you enjoy the rickety barge that was the protostar being floated over moisture vapor to suck up deuterium or energy from that giant storm?
Yes, I did. I thought that was a great scene. I was wondering what the heck was that protrusion that they were using to steer the thing, because I don't think we'd ever seen that before. But beyond that, I thought it was like a great scene, very well animated. Loved the whole story angle with Dal. Dal like completely lost as to whether he should continue to be a captain or not in that scene, and loved the whole Chakotay angle where he gives him just the wisdomly captain advice about being lost and finding yourself. I think was how it was, or something along that line.
Yep. And I think in the second part of the episode, we got a fun little cameo as well, because back on the Voyager, they know that Wesley was involved, and Admiral Janeway goes hunting down the only person who can really give her some insight to Wesley, and that was Gates McFadden as Dr. Crusher. Haven, did you just jump out of your chair like I did when you saw Gates?
I absolutely love that scene, and but it made me question because the timeline, like, is this like I know we find out in the next half in the next week, like, folks, but it definitely at that point when I saw that it made me question when is this actually setting the timeline?
So it's set during the time of the Romulan evacuation. So
Oh, I'm aware of that. I'm aware.
Yeah,
of it.
yeah.
I'm just wondering, Jack Crusher's life,
mm,
because
we'll put a pin in that one, I think, because we don't want.
The timeline makes sense.
That's the next week. But I'm just saying, when I thought about it, that's what I immediately thought of. Is one with Jack one?
Mhm.
When is this in the timeline? Because it wasn't ever made clear what year it was until I want to say episode 17.
Okay.
I want to say it was episode 17 that they actually put down a pin of exactly what year we're in. And well, I was connecting all the dots. Like you can see me on all like with that movement that goes around.
Oh, good. Yeah, look, exact year I'm not too sure. Jim, how did you feel seeing or hearing Gates McFadden and seeing animated Gates McFadden?
Well, like you, I practically jumped out of my seat at seeing that. But as for seeing animated Gates McFadden, just like with the rest of the series, I love how great the overall animation is. I I don't think, unlike with all the other real life characters in animation, I don't think they quite nailed the look of Dr. Crusher. Like there
Hmm.
was just something, and I can't quite nail it down. That was just off about the look of the character, and I don't know what it is, but something just didn't wasn't quite right to me.
Okay.
Like every other character, like especially the Doctor, they nailed. Especially the Doctor and even Jellicoe, they nailed perfectly. But
Yeah.
Gate, Doctor Crusher just didn't look right to me for some reason.
Okay. Interesting.
Um,
Interesting.
I mean,
I thought she nailed the voice work perfectly, but the
Well,
the look of the animation just didn't look right, at least for her character.
no, that's fair enough.
I'm looking at the image right now. Sorry. So I'm looking at the image right now. I just googled it,
Mhm.
and they looks like they basically modeled a photo of Gates
Okay.
from around 2010.
Okay.
So
Okay.
like, and we never saw Gates acting, but that's what they look like they modeled the picture off of because somebody did a side by side comparison.
Yep. So Haven, I'm looking at some information here on timeline. So in this episode, Admiral Janeway does indicate that she has met Crusher before, and she's referring to the Shinzon incident, which, from what I'm reading here on TrekMovie.com, is set 6 years prior. So what we are seeing in Prodigy is set 6 years after Nemesis.
So
That
that
would
would
put
be
it sometime around 2380.
2383. Depending on
Possibly.
what yeah, which actually does line up with what we find in episode 17 of it matching saying 2383.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Any final thoughts on the two-parter, The Last Flight of the Protostar, before we move on to a fun little Tribble episode? I'll get what I've got before you jump in there, Haven. Sorry, no, I just want to jump in and give Peter's comments from the chat. So the rickety barge scene reminded him of the end of The Mummy with Brendan Fraser, which also had a rickety barge traveling in the sky, which was an interesting notice. And also agreed with you, Jim, that he felt that there was something a little different about Beverly's look in animation style. So you've got a supporter there, which is good. Sorry, Haven, I interrupted your final thoughts there. Go ahead.
Well, I just thought that this episode truly gave a good hope of like, okay, so not everything is, especially with the 10 years. You're always going to be, you're going to always have something. That's truly what I thought of that episode. And
Yep.
then also go back to that scene where they were actually floating. That actually gave me it gave me, I want to say, Nemesis vibes because of when they were collecting all the interspatial gas with Enterprise E doing it. I think it was Nemesis. That just absolutely was like, that's what made me think of.
Okay, interesting. Jim, your final thoughts?
You guys have covered my final thoughts pretty well.
All good, all good. Let's jump on to episode 3 not episode 3, so episode 11, 12, episode 13, because we were just talking about a two-parter. So the next episode is a triple called Bradul. And it's another one of those little side adventure episodes that we talked about last week, Jim, where we've got the broader arc still happening, yet we have a little stop off along the way. So in this case, they were looking for a particular element, bosonite, and they found a high concentration of it on this planet, which happened to be filled with flesh-eating tribbles who had been made so on account of a Klingon scientist who was trying to figure out how to stop them from reproducing, or essentially trying to figure out how to wipe them out, most likely, given Klingons' feelings on tribbles. And, we wind up with another cute little character, which I am sure Paramount will try and sell as some sort of plush toy if they
I
had.
wouldn't count on Paramount doing that necessarily.
No, actually,
We haven't gotten an official Murph or even Moopsie yet, so.
True. Even as I was saying it, I'm like, hang on, no. If this was Star Wars, it would already be all over Disneyland. But that's not gonna happen here. But look, I'm sure some of our friends out there will wind up making their own. I know we've got I know we've got people making their own moopsies and all kinds of stuff.
Has MC? I haven't been in contact with MC. Has she made it yet?
I hope so, MC. If you're watching or listening, please make us a brittle. Haven, riddle, brittle, tittle, fiddle. Haven, your initial reactions and thoughts to this episode.
This entire episode, I kept thinking back, and I actually had to rewatch the short track all about tribbles. I forget what it's actually called, but the tribble one with But all I could think of with that scientist was he was the Klingon version of that Star Trek. That Starfleet officer who was playing with the tribbles in short tracks. That's all I could think of this entire episode.
That would have been perfect if he'd been voiced by the actor. Then
That would have been pretty funny. That would have been pure funny. What about you, Jim?
I actually wasn't a huge fan of this episode. Like, I thought the tribbles looked more like rock for starters.
Yeah.
because the animation did not accomplish the fur very well, and God, those gigantic tribbles just scared the bejesus out of me. They were so huge.
Do you think there was something a little off-putting as long-term fans of seeing these cute little furry things turned into killing machines out of nowhere?
Yes, very much so. Seeing tribbles like the size of my apartment building, supposedly rolling along after the crew trying to eat them, like that just and I remember thinking, this is the plot of a kids show.
Well, I actually thought that this was probably one of the more kid show kind of episodes that we saw this second half of the season.
I do agree they did pull it off in keeping it tame in terms of the violence. Thank God, but the actual type of plot was like carnivorous gigantic tribbles. That didn't seem kid friendly to me.
Yeah, that's true. But there was a larger kind of theme of some lessons to be learned about, teamwork and not reading a book by its cover and all that kind of stuff, wrapped up in this kind of little mini bottle adventure. Haven, I think this was a big Rock Talk episode. There's a great line from Rock Talk in this, which is just so wonderfully Rock Talk, which is being presented with a problem-tunity. And I am going to make that a corporate buzzword at my new job. Hey guys, I've found a problem-tunity for us to work on. Haven, do you think you have many uses for the term problem-tunity?
I could definitely see making it work.
Yeah, it was so Rock Talk. It was, and I don't know, I'm a big fan. How do you feel about Rock Talk?
I love rock. Rock has always been, to me, it feels like with all with how it was, especially with kid friendly and everything like that. It always felt like to me that the show was like Rock was actually the main character. So finally to see an episode that was more dedicated it's how it felt like. That's how it, like, I guess Dal is the captain, or was, that's spoilers. But it always felt like Rock should have been the main the main go character, because it was like she's the kid, like the audience is we're excited for.
Yeah, I said it a lot last week. Rock has got a fabulous curiosity that I really, really I love, and brings that wonderful childlike fascination. And I think it's great for the audience, especially the younger audience, to see problem-tunities and to see all this wonderful stuff through her eyes, because she is just fascinated by everything, and she's so caring and loving and a little a little sensitive as well, but has such strength and courage at the same time. wonderful contrasting character for children and adults to kind of get behind too, because I think one of the things that is great about Prodigy and its characters is it makes us adults who take things, the world teaches us to take things very seriously. And we take our Star Trek very seriously. And I think Lower Decks and Prodigy have maybe tried to sort of slow us down a little bit and remind us of the wonderful childlike wonder that we used to view this wonderful franchise in. Haven, before we move on to the next episode, any final thoughts or anything else that you picked up on in this wonderful triple episode?
One thing, the major connection that I found with this episode is we in Voyager, they always like the last line of Caretaker, and I believe the last line of Endgame was set a course for home. That was done by Captain Janeway.
Mm-hmm.
And well, I think that it was absolutely fantastic that Chakotay's first line after the protostar was restored was, "Crew, let's set a course for home." Like that is absolutely like taking Janeway's lines right out of her mouth.
That's true. That's very, very true.
I could bring up some more of the Doctor Who stuff.
Yeah, any interesting updates? Take it away, Reporter Haven.
So basically, they've been talking about how it was always been reconnected. Russell T. Davis said that he actually tried writing a story for Enterprise way back in the day.
Wow.
I did not know that until now. And then he was asked the question of what if he was able to write a Star Trek story. He said he would want to write a sequel to First Contact.
The movie?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
he said that he would absolutely, if he could write any one story, it would be the Borg. The Borgs, basically what they're doing as part of a sequel to First Contact, or he would want to redo with timey-wimey. He would want to redo Yesterday's Enterprise, because he said that is what got him into Star Trek, was Yesterday's Enterprise.
Interesting. And he loves to do a sequel. So one of the things I love about his Doctor Who stories is he's great at inventing new characters and new bad guys, but he's really, really good at reaching back into the lore of it and finding something from its very rich history of bad guys, and bringing them back. Absolutely. Yep. All right, cool. Thank you for the updates there, Reporter Haven. Let's move on to the second last episode that we are covering today from Prodigy Season 2, which is Cracked Mirror. I loved this episode. I have some questions. So, Cracked Mirror, we get a wonderful reunion between Chakotay and Janeway. So they return to Voyager. But naturally, of course, there's literally a beautiful graphic of an actual, what looks like a cracked mirror going through Voyager. And it starts to get split into different alternate realities. Now, it's a little bit of a tokenistic cliche to do a parallel universe episode in Star Trek. And we see a lot of interesting references in this from Prodigy itself, with the return of the Enterpriseians in one universe where they are running the show. And we also get to see O'Connor. So O'Connor returns as well. And the big piece is the return of the Terran Empire, who seem to be back to their former glory, unless it's a different Terran Empire. Jim, are you back with us?
Can you hear me now?
You are sounding amazing, and we cannot hear ourselves, which is even better.
I put on headphones, so hopefully that helps.
It did. So, Jim, your video is working again too, which is fabulous.
Yeah. From my end, it looks like it had been working. I don't know what happened.
Not a problem. So, Cracked Mirror, give us your thoughts.
Loved this episode. Loved seeing Thadian O'Connor again, but absolutely loved seeing the Mirror Universe again. Like, it finally got us more than one Voyager character in the Mirror Universe, because prior to that episode, the only Voyager character we'd ever seen in that universe was Tuvok.
Correct, yes.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
but
I forgot
I
about
did.
that.
But did anyone else catch the in joke about even the whales were evil?
No, I did not get that. That's funny. Actually, I think I did. Now, I vividly recall that, but it was very, very well done. Haven, what about yourself? What are your thoughts on Cracked Mirror?
I love the callback to Shattered. Was it Shattered? Yeah, it was Shattered. That was actually in the line. I also love the fact that everything was like the return of Tuvix, which Tuvix should never have died, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah,
I know
we
that.
did have yeah, Tuvix was in it too. I forgot about that.
Although we
Yeah.
never saw Tuvix, he was just referenced.
It was Captain Tuvix or something, was it?
Yeah, it was Captain Tuvix. And then another one was the other thing that I absolutely loved was the fact that like they made like they know like all the jumps that they were doing. They outright like said like yeah with all those jumps, the Gwen's or I don't want to say mobile minnow, but it's probably the easiest way to explain because I can't remember the actual term. But the thing that was keeping her stable, outright, you could actually see one thing if because I rewinded once when they were actually in the mirror universe,
Mm-hmm.
it flipped. The image actually flipped itself on her emitter. So
Yes.
that was kind of a cool little Easter egg.
Look, the number of Easter eggs in this is probably too many to count. I'm even looking at a shot here of Evil Murph with the evil Spock mustache, which is hilarious. So funny. Yeah. We've got there's a few other important bits and pieces in this episode as well. So again, bit more of a bottle episode, but this is also the end of Zero's corporeal body, so very much a limited run. So I'm looking at screenshots of Zero walking around on a cane here. So I believe, is this the episode where Zero actually? No, it's not this one.
No, it was the next one.
Okay, cool.
It was in the two-parter after this.
Right.
Or
Okay.
some two-parter after
Okay.
this.
Cool. All good. The one thing I do want to talk about, okay, so the Terran universe. So, correct me if I'm getting this all wrong, but the Terran Empire, as we have seen it in Deep Space Nine set before this, is no longer a thing. Are we to...
Well, that didn't necessarily mean there weren't factions out there existing that didn't follow the Terran Empire.
That's true, but could we also... Because it seemed like humans or anyone who was a part of the Terran Empire were now sort of subjugated under the Alliance with the Cardassians and the Klingons and the Bajorans. Could we take this as the Terran Empire has returned? Because they were given their own version of the Defiant and they got a lot of technology from the Prime universe. Do you think...
Or my
Go, Jim.
Or my favorite theory is has anyone ever read those IDW comics that showed like the TNG characters in Mirror Universe, where I think it was like, yes, most of the Terran Empire had fallen. Yes, the Deep Space Nine characters had Deep Space Nine version of their characters had their adventures with the Prime Universe versions of their characters, but Earth still had never fallen. Earth was still the only planet in the Terran Empire, and as such they built like a TNG version. As such, they built their own version of like the USS Enterprise Galaxy class, and the comics we saw were their adventures.
Could be. Haven, what are your thoughts on this? Is this a new rise of the Terran Empire, or is it a faction of the Terran Empire that has been there all along?
I think that I think it's them coming back.
Them come back?
Especially like one thing that really like and this is going to go back into the Section 31, I have a feeling, movie, is the fact is like because it's best we're gonna see exactly how it's gonna go. I have that strong feeling for the Section 31 movie. We're gonna get a lot more of the Terran Empire in there. And we're gonna see because I have this feeling that it's gonna be very much time travel movie, which is makes my happy. And also, I was just reading the very last episode that we ever saw of the Terran Empire before this was the Emperor's New Cloak, which was Deep Space Nine's 712.
Mm-hmm.
Like so with that took place in just let me do the math here real quick.
But it was 2377 when that took place.
Yeah, 2375 for season 7. So we are 8 years beyond that. So a lot could have changed with the Terran Empire. It could have either the factions could have reunited or it could have come back.
Yeah, or perhaps building off Jim's theory as well, if there were existing factions of it and Earth still, exists and has
Yeah,
not fallen itself.
That's why I go, because the way I go with my theory is even Jillian the whale was a loyal servant of the Terran Empire, and
Yeah.
I don't really see like the Klingon Cardassian alliance like subjugating a whale species of the of Earth. I see them like eradicating them upon first contact, rather than subjugating them. And whales, if I'm not mistaken, are a very long-lived species, and Jillian was obviously a very, very loyal servant to the Empire, as you can tell
Mhm.
by both the scar on the eye and the fact that she instantly called for security the second she saw Chakotay Dow, Chakotay Dow and Rocktack, or whatever combination it was.
Mm. All right. So there is some. Look, if the Terran Empire is back and they have rebuilt their strength, I am here for that, and I am here for the potential new stories that brings. I do want to stop and take a moment because we often talk about our favorite actors appearing when we can physically see them, when they're not animated, to be having fun when they get to do something different. I felt like I could hear Kate Mulgrew in particular having a lot of fun getting to dive into Terran Empire Janeway.
Oh yeah, you could tell that by just the tone of her voice, like when she called. And please, fans, don't send me hate mail for this. When she called Murph a goop, like some kind, like goo bag or whatever it was, like you could tell she was enjoying the hell out of herself, like saying that line.
Exactly. And I think even Beltran was having a good time with it. So was Picardo. It was, yeah, it was pretty special to hear them getting to sink their teeth into this kind of material. Haven, what did you think of their performances as their Terran counterparts?
Picardo,
I would
Picardo didn't do Terran.
Oh, no, he didn't. Okay. Oh, good. Sorry, go, Haven.
So I would say it was probably, and like I would say this based off of also interviews I've seen with cast members from all of franchises. They've always said that them going into playing their Terran counterparts have always been their favorite parts. Like Nicole DeBoer, who's most famously known as Dax, outright said that she would have actually preferred to play an entire season of Esri from the Terran Empire than even
Well, I think Terran Esri was probably a little bit more, could have been a little bit more fun than than Prime Esri. Yeah, yeah. So you've got a point there. All right. Before we move on to our final episode to discuss on today's panel, final thoughts on Cracked Mirror. I'll start with you, Haven, since you've got the talking stick already.
for Final Thoughts for Cracked Meal is I honestly think that this could have easily been a two-parter. Like there was enough of us. There was enough stories from the various like the hopping of the universes. It could have easily been a two-parter. Like it was kind of sad to see there was only 20. I think it was 24 minutes, and it could have easily been longer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the thing, right? With Prodigy, you'll often see episodes where you're like, oh, we could have done with a little bit more of that, don't you reckon? But that's all good. That's all good. So, Jim, your final thoughts on Cracked Mirror?
I thought it was one of the better episodes of the season. I enjoyed what I enjoyed seeing. I think it was who was it in Tuvix's crew? The Enterprisians.
Enterprisians. Yep, they were there. Yep.
Yeah, and plus we got to see Jellicoe in command of Voyager.
That's right. I forgot about that. See, so much happened in this episode. Okay, yeah. So,
I loved that little 5-second appearance of Jellicoe. Like that was
Mm.
amazing. Like we actually got to see a softer side of Jellicoe for a change this season. He's been all hard ass all season. Just to see a softer side of him was amazing.
do you know what? It's really funny. So I've literally just made a note on my little pad here that says I need to go and rewatch Cracked Mirror because I feel like this could actually low key be one of my favorites. Even though my earlier comments were like, oh, okay, another parallel universe, more Terran Empire. Each show seems to need to do its take on it. But I appreciate each episode's unique take on it as well because it's always fun, it's always fresh, and it's always great to see the actors getting a chance to do something a little bit different. Now, let's move on to episode 15, which is the final episode we're covering today, is Ascension Part 1. Now, listeners and viewers, as I'm doing my notes and research on this, I am going to try very hard to make sure we remain in Part 1 because Part 1 and Part 2, like you could watch them as a full hour and it's a very complete hour of television. But essentially, this moves right back into the full arc of the season. And that is that Essentia has essentially taken full control, command of Solum. We've got, we've got side stories with a new body for Zero going on. We've got Solum has sent giant ships. How did Essentia get the time to build these giant ships? We've got, let's see, basically there's a whole new weapon that they've got. There's a big battle with Voyager. We get to see Federation fighters and Dal joining Nova Squadron. And we have a cliffhanger at the end with Voyager dead in the water. Exciting, really, really exciting episode. Haven, what did you make of Ascension Part 1?
It was probably the one episode that I had to immediately rewatch.
Okay.
I actually had to rewatch it because it was it was so much. There was like, whoa, like what just happened?
Yeah.
And I was it was just, I was mind blown by it because I would everything that we knew that was going on. To me, it felt like it was a twist at the end, but in a good way. It was like you never expected it to happen, and there was probably stealing the traveler's technology. That is something that I never thought. That anybody would have been able to capture that.
Yeah, it's also, I don't know if it's sort of like stealing the traveler's technology, but more just sort of harnessing their power, so to speak. But yeah, it's an interesting. I mean, the travelers are now essentially the Doctor Who of the Star Trek universe. Hey, maybe that's what's going to happen on your panel. Who knows?
Yeah, we haven't had any updates in a while.
I was gonna wait till this episode ended, but I will tell you one thing that Alex Kurtzman said 7 minutes ago is we're not announcing anything, but if fans can make Star Trek Legacy happen, then our two empires and their lawyers, we would do it. So Kurtzman himself is calling for Legacy.
Jim, what did you make of Ascension Part 1?
I thought it was a damn good episode. And truly, Davey, could it be called a cliffhanger since literally the next episode was seconds away after the first one?
I mean, That's how that was the beauty of all of this dropping in one hit. It was like you just and that's why I'm struggling to remain in the constraints of each episode, because I watched it all in one hit. It all kind of bleeds into each other. So you do have a very, very good point there. Yes.
Yeah, 'cause,
And
I mean,
Jim, to actually go back to what you said there,
Sorry, Jim, you go.
fans nowadays, they don't know what a true cliffhanger even is.
Yeah, true. Sorry, Haven, you go.
And I joke when
but
I
to
say
go
that
to go
people.
back with the dropping all at once, I've seen two different clips on YouTube there. For it's like one I think was for the international market, one for the US market,
Mm-hmm.
and it does appear that internationally, October 24th, we're getting all of season 5 of Lower Decks. But in the US, it looks like they're getting it weekly. So that's because they're literally two different clips. One said it was dropping all at once, one said it wasn't. That's-
Let's we talked a little bit about this last week too, right? Like and this is the concerning thing about this is I would much prefer consistency with the way that they are all dropped all over the world, because they were starting to get good at that consistency, even to the point where, so in Australia, we would not get them until Friday evening our time, and they had been out for almost 24 hours everywhere else. But now we seem to get things dropping the same time as everyone else gets them. So I think, come on, respect the fandom, respect their time, respect the fact that this is not the 90s anymore, and we don't get our spoilers from newsletters and from, it is a huge global community, and we don't want to spoil it for each other. So be respectful of that in the way
They
that
don't seem to understand that. They don't seem to understand that literally the second something airs, spoilers are going to hit the internet a second later.
exactly.
Well, I'll just say something. Canada does not legally have it yet. I'll just say that.
Yeah, everyone's VPNing to the US to watch it on the US Netflix store, right?
Yeah, it is still Canada is the only country in the world that has not had a drop yet.
So weird.
We do not have episode 201 yet, and it looks like Jim is frozen.
That is, yeah, that's pretty full on. Well, thoughts and prayers that you get it soon.
Yeah, well, like I've seen it thanks to my fiance living in the States. I was able to watch it with her. So, I was able to watch it in the US, but it was just we're not able to actually see it. I could not just turn on my MacBook and watch it.
Yeah.
Up here in Canada, I had to actually cross the border to go see it.
So digressing back to Ascension. Now, no, that's fine. That's fine. It's very easy to go off on tangents with this stuff. So, look, there is a lot happening in this episode. And, it's a little bit more about, sort of timey-wimey stuff going on with the travelers. Jim, at this point, are you still appreciating the way that we're getting more about the travelers and who they are and how they operate? Is it making sense to you, or do you think it's raising more questions than it's answering?
Like Janeway says, time travel gives me a headache.
Boom. Perfect answer, by the way. Absolutely perfect answer. Haven, what about you?
Sorry, can you repeat it? So I was just responding to a message on about the forum. So
Oh, good. Oh, good. So my question was, we're getting a lot of extended lore about the travelers, who they are and how they operate. Do you think it's satisfying, or is it getting confusing, or is it raising more questions than it's answering about the travelers at this point for you?
I think it is giving us breadcrumbs, so we will get more. I have that feeling we will get more, because that's the beautiful thing I've noticed about all the franchise, with all the shows, is they are all connecting in some way or another.
Mhm.
We got short tracks being connected. We have the only show I did not see any connection to, in all 20 episodes, was Discovery. But the code was easily mentioned multiple times. I've seen what was it, episode 201, which was last week. They mentioned the Cerritos.
Mhm.
They've mentioned I think they mentioned the Anon in the first episode, so they mentioned Strange New Worlds as well. Like it's all being connected except for Discovery. So I'm excited to see what they will be how connecting it. So to me, I can see the travelers coming. I could see them coming either in Strange New Worlds season 3 or in. I could also see them coming in Starfleet Academy.
Okay. So, Jim, in this episode, things really got dialed up to 1,000. So, Prodigy seems to raise the stakes and then pulls back and then raises them even higher again. And one of the things that really came to light in this episode was just how determined. Oh, we've lost Jim. Never mind. I'm directing this question at you now, Haven. So just how determined Essentia is to essentially wipe the Federation from existence, it would seem. What are your thoughts on Essentia as sort of the main baddie here? Do you really kind of feel... Do you sympathize with Essentia at all? Or is Essentia just very misguided? What's your reading on Essentia at this point?
Essentia to me reminds me very much of Red. I can't remember the actor's name. Red Foreman from that '70s show.
Okay.
When he
Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I thought you were literally going to relate Essentia to Red Foreman for a second then, but fair enough.
I can't remember the actor's name. Which is very rare for me. Welcome back, Jim. But I just feel like it is very much like she is having those, like, she is very single-minded, but I also think that her single-mindedness can be used in a good way when it comes to her point of view.
Yeah, okay. No, and that's it's a very Star Trek concept for the main bad guy or bad person to be that way, right? Like there's essentially, whilst there is an individual here who's doing some horrifying things, Star Trek has a great way of kind of, their motivations are sometimes not necessarily evil, right? Like usually you can, like in The Year of Hell that you just referenced with the Krenim, you could relate to Red Foreman's. Because now I can't remember. Anorax?
Yeah.
I can't remember. Anyway, but the same thing, right? You can relate, or no, not relate, but you can almost understand the motivation, right? Like this is someone who's gone to the nth degree because there's their civilization and the people that they loved and cared for the most have been impacted by either something the Federation has or will do, or something that someone else has or will do. And really, at the end of the day, they're just so desperate to get back to the norm that they've lost sight of the impact of their actions on everyone else. Or they've just stopped caring because they are hurting that badly. Do you think, Jim, Essentia is just hurting that badly that she's just, that's the reason why she's just gone to this insane level of dedication to wiping the Federation off the map?
Oh, absolutely. It's plainly obvious that she's not in her right mind, and I'll just leave it at that.
Yep. Let's touch on some of the other characters in this episode. So we haven't talked about Dahl very much at all in this last hour. So we get to see Dahl as a member of Nova Squadron in this episode. There's lots of ducking and weaving and dogfights going on. Jim, what do we make of the Federation X-Wings that we saw in this?
You mean the Wesley Crusher wannabe?
Yeah.
I actually liked it. I actually liked that. I thought those were great scenes. Well voice acted. Pretty integral to the plot, and gave Majel fantastic character growth.
Yeah, exactly. It was, and we've seen a lot of growth from Dahl in this season. I think Dahl kind of got on some people's nerves in season 1, but you're seeing him mature a lot this time around. Haven.
Yeah, he hasn't had as many how can I put this, emotional temper tantrums as he did during season 1 and at the beginning of this season.
Mm-hmm. Agree. Haven, what are your thoughts? How are you finding Dahl's progression and seeing him kind of go from the big command character, the guy wanting to be in charge, to being a part of a team in Nova Squadron? You're on mute, sorry, Haven.
I did not realize that. As I said, I actually think that this is amazing character growth for Dao. Like, it truly shows that he realizes that what it is to be a member of staff, especially part of the command. So it was one of the best things.
Mm.
And yeah, he was very, very cocky about it. Like, he gave me Luke Skywalker vibes at the very beginning.
Okay.
Reference Star Wars. And now, like, at the end, I could see him basically realizing, like, yeah, he is just one. Like, he is not just. It's not just him by himself. He's not. He's not going to take on the universe. And I think he realized that by the end of. And this is where I think he got the most growth.
Mm.
I can see it being the most growth from in this one episode. Out of 39 total episodes, I think this was the one where he gave him. It was the most growth, and I think that this episode especially gave him what we saw in episode 20
Mm.
at the very end. We'll talk about that.
We won't go too far into that.
No, but I'm just saying, as I think that one scene at the very end of episode 20 is directly impacted by this episode.
Okay, all right. So read into that what you will, listeners and viewers. Peter is back in the chat. The Starfleet single-seat fighters reminded him of the Wing Commander video game from the 90s, which is an interesting comment, Peter, because quite frankly, we don't get a lot of this in Star Trek. I think these, single-man fighters, it's always starship versus starship. The end of Discovery Season 2 was, I think, one of the only times I can truly remember there being a dogfight of sorts with all the little shuttles and all that kind of stuff flying around shooting each other. Go, Jim.
The only other time I can remember that is there was a video game, I think in the 90s or early 2000s, that involved Captain Sulu and the Excelsior, and the basic concept of the game was fighters versus fighters.
Yeah.
Starfleet Academy, 1994.
Yeah.
No, that wasn't it. It involved Sulu traveling through the mirror universe.
I know the one you're talking about. It's called Shattered something or other. It's like a PS2 era game. Yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
Oh, I did not know that one. Maybe I'll have to try and find that. I thought it was Starfleet Academy because that one had quite a bit of Sulu in it at the end.
Yeah. So, but in general, like on screen, in movies and TV shows, we don't see this type of kind of battle being played out with one-man fighters. Jim, is it something you'd like to see more of in Star Trek? Less of? Not at all? What are your thoughts?
I think the current level is fine, and I'm seeing in the chat Peter. I'm seeing in the chat Peter does agree. It was Shattered Universe.
Yeah. I've never played it, but I get stuck in YouTube spirals with video games, and I watch a lot of the cinematics and gameplays of older games that I never got to play. But hey, that could be one for Bargain Bin Gamer, but I'll put that to the side.
Yeah, you never know. You could find it on GOG sometime.
Could do. Haven, what about you though? Dogfights in Starfleet and on our Star Trek screens, yay, nay, or indifferent?
I want to see more of them.
More of them? Okay.
I absolutely think that the closest I think before, like, I've been thinking about it for the last couple of minutes here. The closest that we saw to a dogfight would be First Contact, like movie against the Battle of Sector 001. And I think like the only dogfight I can really remember is right before the Defiant was almost destroyed, and like when we finally got Worf on the Enterprise E. Like, I think that's the closest we've seen to a dogfight on screen that I can think of.
As I mentioned, there was a bit of it happening in the season finale of Discovery season 2 because there was kind of some one man kind of craft weaving in and out, but they weren't so much. It wasn't so much dogfights. I think some of them were like bots and drones and all that kind of thing. But it was similar kind of vibes. Similar kind of vibes. We're almost out of time. We have, and literally it would be, unless we do episode by episode, it is impossible to capture everything, but it's been great to chat to you both about, your thoughts and what you have taken out of these 5 episodes. Just a quick final thoughts on the episode Ascension from yourself, Haven.
I think that it was a great way to, like, if they were going to be doing it with these weekly, I think that this would have been a perfect way to a mid-season break. And I think that definitely captured what people like, made people want to say, "Hey, we need to watch episode 2." And that's I think the best part about a 2-part episode is like I think it set up a perfect sticking of the landing. It gets set it up perfectly, I think.
Agree. And it was keeping us binging nonstop. I found the second half of the season easier to binge than the first half. So I took a lot more breaks in the first 10 episodes. In the last back 10 episodes, I was like, next episode, next episode, next episode, next episode, which was good. Jim, final thoughts on
Okay,
Ascension?
Just on a side note, I was actually the exact opposite of you, Davey. I found
Okay.
the first half to be easier to binge than the second half. Second half, I was taking a lot of breaks between episodes, but that's just my personal viewing habit on that. But anyways, moving on to my view of Ascension, I thought even though it was a good episode, this could have been a perfect time for the koala to show up.
Oh my god, yeah.
Where would you have placed the koala if you had the opportunity to include it?
I honestly don't even know.
Fair enough. Well, on that note, I think we're going to leave it there. So thank you so much to both of you for joining. We will schedule a part 3 for the Hive Mind. And on that note, if you are part of our Patreon collective, you get the links to these. You are welcome to join these Hive Mind broadcasts to chat anything and everything. We're going to do one more on the last 5 episodes of season 2 of Prodigy. We are going to do a further extension on SDCC news once that's all kind of wrapped up. We are also going to do one for our Patreon members and hosts who are attending STLV. And then we will continue to do monthly we'll do one when Lower Decks comes out, but then we'll continue to do monthly ones as well, where we just do a general Star Trek chat. So these are available to our paid Patreon subscribers to actually be a part of the panel. You can become a Patreon member by heading over to patreon.com/BQN. It costs as little as $1 to $2, depending on your currency of choice. Plus, there's lots of other amazing perks going on over there as well. So please check out the Patreon. We would love to have you on. You don't have to be a patron to be a part of the fun. These get broadcast live, goes up as a podcast, audio podcast as well. You can join us in the live chats or just listen to our musings at your own time. Before we leave, Haven, where can everyone find you on the interwebs?
Well, I'm coming back to. I've had a bit of a hiatus about last couple months, but you will see me definitely in the BQN Discord, and you can reach me over on X or on Threads under the tag Section 31 Pod because I'm restarting that next week.
Excellent. Check all of that out. And Jim, where can everyone find you on the World Wide Web?
I am in. You can chat with me in the Discord chat and also in the Facebook group. And if you happen to be at STLV next week, I will be walking. I will be walking around the convention.
I am so jealous. I miss STLV so much. I haven't been since 2019, and I used to go every year. I would make the trek, if you will, from Australia to Las Vegas, and I can't wait to see all the photos and hear all about it and live vicariously, Jim. Make sure you have an amazing time and have a drink for me, please.
I plan on having an amazing time. This is going to be my first STLV convention since probably I think 2011 or 2012.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Amazing.
it's been a spell for me.
Well, I hope you have a great time. For myself, listeners and viewers, so you can find me hosting the BQN Hive Mind, but more importantly, my other two shows on the BQN network are making a return next week. Trexperts Quiz, the internet's premier Star Trek game show, is returning in this time slot next week with part 1 of a 3-part Prodigy extravaganza. So episode 1 is going to be the Duros sisters doing a quiz of Prodigy season 1 part 1. Episode 2 is going to be Giraffe from Strange New Pod and Erin from Spinal Frontier doing a quiz on the second half of Prodigy season 1. And then part 3 is going to be the winners from those two taking on a Prodigy season 2 quiz in about 3 to 4 weeks' time. I'm so excited to be pulling all of that together. All of your favorites will be back. MC will be back in the scorekeeper's chair, along with a couple of other special guests as well. Bargain Bin Gamer, spelled Gaymer, where I play the cheapest and shittest video games so that you don't have to, is returning with a travel special. And I am currently doing live stream series where I am playing some of my favorite N64 classics, starting with Mystical Ninja starring Gomon, which is, if you never played it, check it out. It's an experience. It's quite an experience. That's it. Remember, for the BQN, we are big on our Discord group, which you can find a link to in the episode description. You can also join our Facebook, the BQN Collective. You can follow all of our shows on Instagram and Blue Sky. BQN has decided to remove its X accounts at this time and focus on other platforms, but lots of other fun ways to interact with us. So thank you for joining us. We will be back again soon with more Hive Mind. Lots of other BQN content out there. Please go and check it all out. But until we see you again, make sure you live long and prosper, everyone. Peace out.